He has been stripped off. Triple H removes Seth Rollins from all WWE brands after heated clash over creative control. WWE just made the most shocking roster decision in years, and I am absolutely stunned. Seth freakin' Rollins, one of the most loyal, hardworking, and talented performers in WWE history, has been removed from all WWE brands following an explosive backstage confrontation with Triple H over creative direction. The visionary, the architect, a Grand Slam champion, has been stripped of his position on Raw and SmackDown in what can only be described as a nuclear fallout between talent and management. This is unprecedented. If you think WWE just made the biggest mistake of the Triple H era, smash the like button and tell me in the comments whether this is the end of Seth Rollins in WWE. Let's dive into this absolute bombshell. Just hours ago, WWE's official website quietly updated their roster pages, and Seth Rollins' name was gone. Completely removed from Raw. Removed from SmackDown. Not listed as injured or inactive, just erased like he never existed. Wrestling journalists immediately started making calls, and what they discovered is explosive. According to multiple sources, Seth Rollins had a heated confrontation with Triple H in his office this past Monday following Raw. The argument reportedly lasted over an hour and could be heard throughout the backstage area. Multiple WWE superstars confirmed they witnessed Seth storming out of Triple H's office, visibly furious, shouting that he was done being disrespected. The catalyst for this confrontation? Creative control. Seth Rollins has apparently been frustrated for months with the direction of his character and storylines. Despite being one of WWE's top stars and a veteran with over 15 years of experience, Seth feels his input has been consistently ignored by WWE's creative team. Sources close to the situation report that Seth pitched multiple storyline ideas that were either rejected outright or significantly altered without his consultation. The final straw came when Seth was informed of plans for his character that he felt were detrimental to his legacy and disrespectful to everything he's built in WWE. When Seth requested a meeting with Triple H to discuss his concerns, things exploded. What was supposed to be a productive conversation turned into a full-blown argument about creative freedom, respect for veteran performers, and WWE's decision-making process under the new regime. Triple H reportedly told Seth that "this is my company now, and if you don't like the direction, there are other places you can work." Seth fired back, calling Triple H a hypocrite for not giving current talent the same creative freedoms that the game enjoyed during his wrestling career. The meeting ended with Seth allegedly telling Triple H, "I built this place. I gave you my body, my health, my life for this company. And this is how you treat me," before walking out and leaving the arena entirely, missing scheduled promotional appearances. Quick question for the comments: do you think Seth Rollins has a legitimate reason to be upset with WWE's creative direction? Before we go further, we need to acknowledge what Seth Rollins means to WWE. This isn't some mid-card talent throwing a tantrum. This is a bona fide legend who has given everything to this company. Seth Rollins debuted on the main roster in 2012 as part of the Shield alongside Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose, Jon Moxley. That faction revolutionized WWE. They were must-see television every single week. And Seth was the workhorse of the group, taking the craziest bumps and delivering consistently excellent matches. In 2014, Seth betrayed the Shield in what became one of the most iconic moments in WWE history. His heel turn was perfect. He aligned with the Authority, won the Money in the Bank contract, and cashed in at WrestleMania 31 to become WWE World Heavyweight Champion in a historic triple threat match. Seth has held the WWE Championship twice, the Universal Championship twice. He's a United States Champion, a Tag Team Champion multiple times, and Mr. Money in the Bank. He's won the Royal Rumble. He's main event WrestleMania. He's done it all. But beyond the accolades, Seth has been WWE's workhorse. He's the guy who shows up every week, works injured, takes on any opponent, and delivers quality matches regardless of the circumstances. When WWE needed someone to carry Raw, they turned to Seth. When they needed someone to have a great match with a part-timer, Seth was the call. Seth rebuilt his knee after a devastating injury in 2015 and came back stronger. He's dealt with back issues and continued performing at a high level. He's mentored younger talent, helped elevate new stars, and been a locker room leader for years. This is a man who bleeds WWE. He's been loyal through thick and thin. He defended WWE publicly during controversies. He's been their spokesperson, their representative, and their champion in every sense of the word. And now, WWE is just going to discard him over a creative disagreement? It's absolutely disgraceful. Let's talk about the specific creative issues that reportedly led to this breakdown. Because Seth's frustrations didn't appear overnight, they've been building for over a year. According to insider reports, Seth has been unhappy with his booking since losing the World Heavyweight Championship. He's been placed in random feuds with no clear direction or purpose. One week he's feuding with someone, the next week that storyline is dropped and he's moved to something else. There's been no consistency. Seth pitched a long-term storyline that would have positioned him as a veteran trying to prevent the next generation from making the same mistakes he did. It would have been compelling character work, giving Seth depth and purpose while elevating younger talent. WWE Creative rejected it, saying it was too complex for casual viewers. He also pitched reuniting the Shield for one final run before all three members retire. It would have been a money-making nostalgia storyline that fans have been begging for. Again, rejected. Triple H reportedly said, "We're not living in the past anymore." The final straw? Seth was informed last week that WWE wanted him to lose a series of matches to put over up-and-coming talent without any storyline justification. Just straight losses with no character development or reasoning. Seth felt this would make him look weak and damage his credibility after spending years being positioned as a top star. When Seth pushed back, suggesting ways to put over young talent while protecting his character, similar to how veterans like Chris Jericho do in AEW, he was told he was being difficult and not a team player. Can you believe that? One of the most cooperative stars in WWE history is being called difficult for wanting his character to make sense. Seth argued that veteran performers should have some input into their characters, especially when it comes to decisions that affect their legacy. Triple H disagreed, stating that in the new WWE, creative decisions are made by the team, not individual performers. This philosophical difference became the wedge that drove Seth and Triple H apart. Two men who once were close friends and colleagues are now on completely opposite sides of a major disagreement. The WWE locker room is reportedly in shock over Seth's removal. Multiple wrestlers have expressed disbelief that the situation escalated to this level. Seth was universally respected by his peers, and seeing him treated this way has sent ripples through the entire roster. Several top stars have reportedly approached Triple H privately to express their concerns. Roman Reigns, Seth's Shield brother, is said to be extremely upset and has demanded a meeting with WWE leadership. Roman and Seth have been through everything together, and seeing his brother pushed out like this doesn't sit well with the tribal chief. Cody Rhodes, another top star and locker room leader, reportedly told colleagues he's concerned about the precedent this sets. If Seth Rollins, a main event talent and veteran, can be removed for voicing creative concerns, what does that mean for everyone else? The women's roster is also reportedly worried. Becky Lynch, Seth's real-life wife, is in an incredibly difficult position. Sources say Becky has tried to mediate between Seth and WWE management, but with limited success. There are concerns that Becky's own standing with the company could be affected by her husband's situation. Younger talent who looked up to Seth as a mentor are devastated. Wrestlers like Austin Theory, Grayson Waller, and others who Seth helped train and guide are losing a valuable resource and advocate. Seth was known for going to bat for younger wrestlers in creative meetings, fighting for them to get opportunities. Some wrestlers are reportedly angry at Triple H for how this was handled. They feel that even if Seth was out of line, the situation should have been resolved internally without removing him from all brands. The public nature of his removal feels like a message to the locker room, don't question creative. However, there are also wrestlers who side with WWE management, believing that no individual performer should have control over their character regardless of their status. This has created a divide in the locker room that could have long-lasting effects on morale. Comment below, whose side are you on, Seth Rollins or Triple H? To be fair, we need to examine this from Triple H's perspective as well. The game isn't just making arbitrary decisions, he's running a billion-dollar company with thousands of moving parts. Since taking over WWE's creative direction from Vince McMahon, Triple H has been praised for improving storylines, giving wrestlers more freedom in promos, and creating a more collaborative environment. But collaborative doesn't mean performers have complete control over their characters. Triple H has a vision for WWE's future. He's trying to build new stars, create compelling long-term stories, and position the company for sustained success. Sometimes that means veteran performers need to take a back seat or put over younger talent, even if they don't love the booking. From Triple H's perspective, Seth might have crossed a line by publicly challenging his authority in front of other wrestlers. In any organization, there's a hierarchy, and when someone at Seth's level openly defies management, it creates a problem. Triple H may have felt he had no choice but to make an example. There's also the business reality that WWE has a deep roster. If Seth Rollins doesn't want to cooperate with creative direction, there are dozens of other talented performers ready to step into that spot. WWE can't allow individual performers, no matter how talented, to hold the company hostage. Triple H might also be dealing with pressure from WWE's corporate structure. With WWE now under the TKO Group Holdings umbrella alongside UFC, there are suits and shareholders who expect efficient operations and profitability. Lengthy negotiations with difficult talent might not be compatible with corporate expectations. Additionally, Triple H has to consider the precedent. If he caves to Seth's demands, every veteran will start demanding creative control. That could create chaos and make it impossible to execute a cohesive vision for WWE programming. From a pure management perspective, removing Seth from all brands sends a clear message: in Triple H's WWE, the company comes first, and no individual is bigger than the brand. Whether that's the right message is debatable. Now, let's address the elephant in the room: AEW. All Elite Wrestling has to be watching this situation with intense interest. Seth Rollins becoming available would be one of the biggest free agent signings in wrestling history. Seth has a history with several AEW talents. Jon Moxley, his former Shield brother, is a top star in AEW. Kenny Omega is someone Seth has expressed interest in wrestling. The Young Bucks were his independent wrestling peers before WWE. There are built-in storylines waiting to happen. Tony Khan, AEW's president, has always said he wants to create an environment where wrestlers have more creative input. Seth's situation in WWE is a perfect pitch for what AEW offers differently. Tony could position AEW as the place where veteran performers are respected and have a say in their characters. Imagine Seth Rollins showing up on AEW Dynamite. The pop would be nuclear. The wrestling world would explode. It would instantly become one of the biggest moments in AEW history and give the mainstream attention they've been seeking. Seth could immediately slot into AEW's main event scene. Dream matches against Omega, Moxley, Danielson, MJF, Ospreay. The possibilities are endless. Seth's work rate and style would fit perfectly with AEW's presentation. However, there are complications. Seth has been a WWE loyalist for his entire career. He's defended WWE against AEW criticism in the past. Would he really jump ship? Or would he take time off, work independent dates, and see if WWE comes calling again? There's also the question of Seth's contract status. Is he actually a free agent, or is he still under WWE contract but simply not being used? If he's still under contract, there could be legal issues preventing him from appearing elsewhere. WWE famously has strict non-compete clauses. Wrestling Observer's Dave Meltzer tweeted cryptically, "Don't assume Seth's WWE story is over. Stranger things have happened. But if it is over, AEW just got very interesting." That suggests even insiders aren't sure what happens next. The WWE universe is divided and passionate about this situation. Social media has exploded with reactions ranging from support for Seth to defense of Triple H's decision. Team Seth fans are furious. Tweets like "WWE just lost one of their best performers because of corporate ego. Seth Rollins made your company relevant for over a decade" are everywhere. Fans are threatening to cancel Peacock subscriptions and stop attending shows. One viral tweet said, "Seth Rollins bled for WWE. He came back from a career-threatening injury for WWE. He worked through pain for WWE. And they discard him like trash the moment he speaks up? Disgusting." It received over 200,000 likes. Meanwhile, Team Triple H fans argue nobody is bigger than WWE. Seth needs to remember that. If you don't like the direction, leave. Simple. These fans believe wrestlers should follow creative direction without complaint. Interestingly, there's a third group of fans who blame both sides. They argue that Seth should have been more diplomatic in expressing concerns, while Triple H should have been more willing to compromise with a proven star. Wrestling journalists are having a field day. Every podcast, every YouTube channel, every wrestling news site is covering this story. It's the biggest wrestling news since CM Punk's departure from AEW. Mainstream sports media is picking it up too. ESPN, Fox Sports, and other outlets are reporting on Seth's removal, bringing attention to WWE from casual sports fans who don't normally follow wrestling. Whether this is good attention for WWE is questionable. The hashtag thank you Seth started trending worldwide, with fans posting their favorite Seth Rollins moments, matches, and memories. It's both a celebration of his career and a sad acknowledgement that we might not see him in WWE again. Conversely, #StandWithTripleH is also trending among fans who support WWE's decision. The wrestling community is as divided as it's been since the Monday Night Wars. What's your take? Drop a comment telling me whose side you're on and why. So where do we go from here? What are the possible outcomes of this explosive situation? Let me break down the scenarios. Scenario 1: the reconciliation. Seth and Triple H cool down, have a mature conversation, find middle ground, and Seth returns to WWE within weeks or months. This happens more often than you think. Wrestlers have heated disagreements with management all the time, and most get resolved. Seth is too valuable to lose over pride. Scenario 2: the extended break. Seth takes an extended hiatus from WWE. He's worked non-stop for over a decade and might need time to heal physically and mentally. During this break, both sides reassess, and eventually Seth returns on better terms with renewed enthusiasm. Scenario 3: the AEW jump. If Seth's contract situation allows it, he makes the shocking move to AEW. This would be a massive coup for Tony Khan and would shake up the wrestling landscape. Seth becomes AEW's biggest signing and instantly elevates their main event scene. Scenario 4, the independent run. Seth explores options outside WWE and AEW. New Japan, GCW, the independent scene. There are plenty of places where Seth could work and prove his value. This also keeps him fresh and allows WWE to miss him, potentially leading to a better return deal. Scenario 5, the retirement. Seth uses this as an opportunity to step away from full-time wrestling. At 38 years old with a young family, maybe he decides it's time to transition to part-time work, commentary, or behind-the-scenes roles. He's accomplished everything in wrestling. Scenario 6, the power play. Seth and other disgruntled WWE wrestlers use this situation to negotiate better terms collectively. If multiple top stars threaten to walk over creative control issues, WWE might have to make concessions. This could reshape how WWE operates. My prediction? This gets resolved within 30 to 60 days. WWE can't afford to lose Seth long-term, and Seth loves WWE too much to stay away permanently. But the terms of his return will be very different. Seth will likely get more creative input, and Triple H will show more flexibility with veteran performers. This situation is about more than just Seth Rollins and Triple H. It's about the fundamental question: how much control should wrestlers have over their characters? In the old WWE model under Vince McMahon, creative control was almost non-existent for most performers. Vince made all decisions, and wrestlers executed them. Some legends like Hulk Hogan, The Rock, and Stone Cold eventually earned creative control clauses, but they were rare. Triple H's WWE was supposed to be different. He promised more collaboration, more input from performers, and a more talent-friendly environment. But this situation suggests there are limits to that collaboration. Triple H still wants final say, which is understandable from a management perspective but frustrating for talents. AEW positioned itself as the alternative, where wrestlers have more freedom, but we've seen that model create problems too. Too much freedom can lead to unfocused storytelling, backstage conflicts, and inconsistent presentation. The question becomes, what's the right balance? How do you respect veteran performers' experience and knowledge while maintaining creative cohesion and building toward long-term goals? Some suggest a tiered system where main event veterans get more input than mid-card or newer talents. Others argue for a committee approach where creative and wrestlers collaborate on equal footing. There's no perfect answer. This situation could be a watershed moment for the wrestling industry. How it resolves might establish new norms for how major promotions handle talent relations. Other companies are watching closely. It also raises questions about respect. Should a performer's past contributions earn them more consideration, or should everyone be treated equally regardless of tenure? These are complicated questions without easy answers. What's clear is that the relationship between talent and management in wrestling is evolving. The days of wrestlers simply doing what they're told are ending. Modern performers want agency, input, and respect. Companies that don't adapt will lose talent. Seth Rollins' absence leaves a massive hole in WWE programming. Let's talk about the immediate impact on Raw and SmackDown. Seth was regularly featured in main event segments and matches. He was reliable for drawing ratings, selling tickets, and delivering quality content. Removing him means WWE needs to fill significant television time with someone else. Raw's main event scene immediately becomes thinner. Without Seth, you're relying heavily on people like Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest, and others who might not have Seth's consistency and proven star power. This could affect Raw's viewership numbers. Storylines that were in progress or planned featuring Seth need to be scrapped or reworked. This creates headaches for the creative team and could lead to rushed or poorly developed alternatives. Fans notice when storylines feel thrown together. Younger talent loses a valuable opponent and mentor. Seth was perfect for elevating rising stars because he could make anyone look good in the ring while still maintaining his own credibility. His absence makes it harder to build new main eventers. Pay-per-view cards become harder to fill. Seth was a reliable main event or strong semi-main event act. Without him, WWE might need to rely more on part-timers or push people before they're ready. However, this could be an opportunity. Seth's absence creates space for other talents to step up. Someone like Finn Balor, Sami Zayn, or others could fill the void and have breakthrough moments. Sometimes roster shake-ups lead to unexpected stars emerging. From a business perspective, WWE's corporate partners might have concerns. Seth was a marketable star used in promotional campaigns. His removal could affect sponsorship value and mainstream media opportunities. The question is, can WWE maintain its current level of quality and success without Seth Rollins? Or will his absence be felt immediately in ratings, ticket sales, and overall presentation? We'll find out in the coming weeks. Ultimate Warrior had multiple disputes with WWE over creative and money. He walked out multiple times and burned bridges repeatedly. His situation shows that some relationships become too damaged to repair quickly. What do these examples teach us? That major stars clashing with WWE over creative is normal. It's happened repeatedly throughout wrestling history. What matters is how both sides handle the aftermath. Some relationships get repaired quickly, others take years. Some never fully heal. The severity of the disagreement, public statements made, and bridge-burning behavior all affect whether reconciliation is possible. Seth's situation seems less severe than most historical examples. There's no public mudslinging, no lawsuits, no incidents being aired on podcasts. This suggests that reconciliation is possible if both sides approach it maturely. Comment and tell me, which historical WWE departure does Seth's situation most resemble? Let's not forget that behind the characters and corporate decisions are real people with emotions, families, and lives outside wrestling. Seth Rollins is a 38-year-old man with a wife, Becky Lynch, and young children. His decisions aren't just about pride or creative control, they affect his family. If he's truly unhappy and it's affecting his mental health, maybe standing up for himself was the right decision regardless of career consequences. Triple H is also under immense pressure. He's responsible for WWE's creative direction, shareholder expectations, roster management, and maintaining relationships with hundreds of talents. One difficult situation with Seth could be the tip of the iceberg of challenges he faces daily. Becky Lynch is caught in the middle. She's Seth's wife and a WWE superstar. This situation puts her in an impossible position. Does she support her husband publicly? Does she stay neutral? Does she advocate for him privately? There's no easy answer. The other WWE locker room members are watching closely. Their livelihoods depend on WWE, but they also relate to Seth's frustrations. Many probably have creative issues they've swallowed. Seeing Seth stand up might inspire them or make them more afraid to speak up. Seth's family and friends outside wrestling are likely concerned. He's worked himself to the point of multiple injuries over his career. Maybe they're happy he's standing up for himself and prioritizing his well-being over corporate demands. Triple H's family and friends, including Stephanie McMahon, are supporting him through difficult executive decisions. Running WWE isn't easy, and making tough calls about talent comes with the job. At the end of the day, these are human beings trying to navigate complicated professional situations. It's easy for fans to pick sides and make judgments, but we're not living their lives. We don't know the full story behind closed doors. Wrestling fans sometimes forget that wrestlers aren't just characters on our screens, they're people with feelings, struggles, and limits. Whatever happens with Seth and WWE, I hope both parties find resolution that allows them to be happy. This is one of the most significant stories in wrestling this year. Seth Rollins being removed from all WWE brands over creative disagreements is shocking and could have long-lasting implications for the industry. Whether you're Team Seth, Team Triple H, or somewhere in between, this situation forces us to think about important questions. How should wrestlers and management navigate creative differences? What's the right balance between artistic freedom and corporate structure? How much should past contributions influence current treatment? I believe this situation will eventually get resolved. Seth is too valuable, and WWE knows it. Triple H is too smart to lose a star like Seth over pride. But the terms of that resolution will be fascinating. What concessions will be made? What precedents will be set? In the meantime, the wrestling world will be buzzing with speculation, rumors, and theories. Every statement from Seth, every WWE decision, every social media post will be analyzed to death. That's what makes wrestling so compelling. The real-life drama often rivals the scripted stories. I want to hear from you, the Wrestling Newsletter family. Tell me in the comments. Do you think Seth was right to stand up for creative control? Should Triple H have handled this differently? Where do you think Seth ends up? What would you do in Seth's situation? If you support Seth Rollins, smash that like button. If you think Triple H made the right call, like it anyway and tell me why in the comments. Subscribe to Wrestling Newsletter for daily updates on this developing situation. This story is far from over. Share this video with every wrestling fan you know. This is the biggest wrestling story right now, and we need to keep the conversation going. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss any updates. Final question: rate the likelihood of Seth Rollins returning to WWE within the next 6 months. Give me a percentage in the comments. This has been Wrestling Newsletter, and remember, the business of wrestling is complex. There are rarely simple good guys and bad guys. Everyone's trying to do what they think is best. Let's hope Seth and WWE find a way forward that benefits everyone. Until next time, keep watching, keep discussing, and keep questioning everything.